the cover to this cistern here in front of this old church and school here at St. James. The lid of that cistern is one solid slab of stone.
They might have, but their old house place is on the other side.
Yeah, they lived here first before they moved over there.
The son is the one that built the old house place that was on the other side.
On the other side.
The mom and dad's house place.
People
get that confused.
Just the other side of that hill there, that's Laferty Creek that comes down.
On the right banks of the river.
Which would be on the Stone County side. And then it was after that the Cherokee treaties said they had to move across the river. But I think they lived there. The old man died over here. I'm sure he died over here.
Well, I'll bet them if he did, I'll bet you he's buried at this next.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And they pushed all of them tombstones and everything off there.
Now, I hadn't been over here in several years, and they had bulldozed that knoll back up in there, and I didn't know there was a cemetery.
Oh
I didn't talk to
yeah,
anybody.
there's a cemetery there.
Okay.
Well, you can see that's why we need you, Sam, because
We'll stop and go back out.
that's there was a family that lived here, the Pinters, P-E-N-T-E-R, and they lived just south of right here, between here and Ruddle's Mill, and they could get up here on top of this bluff and they could see the river in both directions, and these little boys would guard. Now if there were anybody up there, you can see this point up here. The last time I was down here with Sam, he and I were standing down here, and there was people up there talking, and it was just like we were standing next to them. So what those little boys did is they would be up there, and if they saw Indians coming or they saw steamboats, whatever they saw coming up and down this river, they could alert the guys down here on the ground as to what was happening, because if they screamed, you heard them as if they were standing right next to you. And so it was called Pinter's Bluff. Now today Sam added another layer to that story, that their father, there was a bet that how far you could go out onto the bluff, and they'd bet each other. Well, he went out a little too far, slipped and fell, and they had to pull him up, and that's when they started calling it Painter's Bluff. It's called, pronounced, even though it's Pinter.
He had lodged in a cedar tree.
Lodged in a cedar tree, and he lived. And he lived, yes. I thought he died, but Sam said, no, he lived. Cook Holler?
Yeah, that's where they had a little battle during the Civil War there at Cook Holler. They had one at Buckhorn, you know, too.
Yeah. Now, who was it? The Ivy slaves?
The Ivy slaves, they leased some of them to help
Build the wall?
Yeah. 6 cents a day for eating a head.
And who was that hired them?
The man that hired them was, let's see, his name was...
Was it Hollingsworth?
No, it was the Hollingsworth land plays out where you come through the gate. This was Beard.
Beard?
Yeah.
Wow,
And
I know a guy named Beard over in Melbourne.
From the Ivies?
From Ivies for 6 cents a day, and he furnished their dinner.
And their dinner was chicken and turtles?
Their dinner mostly, my dad's uncle said, was turnips. They just pulled them, throw them in the kettle, didn't even wash them, salad, tops and all, cooked them, worms and all.
Worms and all.
But this area right here was a primary Shawnee settlement that where Abraham Ruddle, Sam Houston, George Lale, they brought the Indians into this area right here. This area right over here that we're about to go over to is the Indian burial ground.
Of St. Louis had come and dug him up.
Archaeologists from St. Louis, yeah.
Him and the old Doc Kelly's son, Euless Kelly, dug it up.
Yep.
And it was a skeleton?
Yeah, it was sitting upright.
In a sitting position?
In a sitting position.
Yeah, Dad said it was just he was looking back east, he said. Just sitting there. They did.
The Indian burial ground.
Cemetery right over here. Part of it caved off in that slough.
He's making fun of you. This is Mary Cooper Miller. She is a descendant of John and Sarah Lafferty. Her line comes down from the daughter Margaret, who married James Lytle Criswell. And this is Mary Lafferty Wilson. She is from the Jacob Binks line. And this area right here is where their grandparents, so many farther back, 1801, John first came here, and in 1810 he applied for the land patent but was denied it because he had not lived here continuously for 10 years. We believe that this spot right here on this knoll is the original house place. It overlooks what is now called Laferty Creek on the opposite side of the river. This bottomland right here to our left was homesteaded in 1824 by John Lafferty Jr., their son. On the other side of those trees right down here is the property line that separates where Lorenzo Dow Laferty, the youngest, homesteaded land in 1836. The sinkhole from 1811 is on Lorenzo Dow Lafferty's land, and if their house was sitting right here, they would have had a view of the eruption from the New Madrid earthquake of 1811, which has been written about repeatedly in various documents of the territorial time.
We stopped along the river bottom here. It's just on the edge of the river bottom, on the hillside, where we had seen a thong tree on another trip over here. And we found that there's actually two thong trees just within a few yards of each other.